morning or good evening or good afternoon or wherever you are. This is Patrick once again from wpbuilderhelper, and in today's video, like I said, I had asked you before in some of my other videos about what kind of content you want to see, and by far one of the biggest things that people wanted to see was Gutenberg blocks. I guess more people are going towards it and they're kind of looking at it like, what's going on. And one of the ones that I do have a license to is Qubely. Some of these do not cost money, some of these do cost money. Qubely has come out of the woodwork. They had a lifetime license for a little while, but they've kind of come out of the woodwork because they have some pretty advanced features that they can do with Qubely. Like, there's some things in here that you can see that you would find with an average page builder. So what Qubely is essentially doing is you're getting the functionality of something like Elementor. Well, let's not go that far. You're getting the functionality of a page builder, but without having an actual page builder. Because as you can see, these are all the different things that Qubely has, and there is a lot of them. There's a lot of extra blocks. On top of that, they also have some new sections. They have different sections, and most of these sections are highly professional. So it wouldn't take you much to take and throw together a site where you've got a great site that looks fantastic and you've got something that's ready to go for a client or anyone else. I mean, it's really cool with the way they do this. There's tons of headers, there's tons of footers, there's tons of all of that. Now, one of the issues for me is that right now with the way it works, there's no real header and footer that's in here. I should say, so I said before headers and footers. What I meant was like hero images, because they call them headers here. They should be called hero images because that's more of what they are. But so in header and footer, what I've done is I've combined Qubely with Blocksy, which is one of my favorite themes, which does have headers and footers, although it says it has footers. Yeah, so it does. I guess these are the footers for it, so you do have some headers and some footers that you can kind of use to integrate, although this isn't the typical footer. So that's what we're going to use. So today I have a site and it's already up, and I kind of want to show you what we're going to do. We're going to just build something from scratch. It's not going to be perfect, and I haven't gone out of my way to try and have icons or anything like that. I'm strictly using the ready-made stuff and going through and showing you what Qubely does. So let's take a look at that and let's jump in right here. So this is our page, and if you look at it right now, there's nothing special about this. This is the standard Blocksy page. Standard blocks are heading, footer, and it's got some content. So there's nothing new. So we're going to add a new page, and we're going to set that page up as the home page. And we're going to publish that page, and we'll click off at that. And right here you can actually go in and import a layout. Let's look at that. Let's go through and see what kind of layouts they have. So we can see that they have tables here that you can kind of preview, and if you go into each of them, there's features, testimonials. Let's go to premium. I want to see all the premium stuff that they have. One of the things that you'll first notice is that it's got something standard to, I guess, what you would call, or at least what I would call, like a Brizzy. Like, they've got some starter packs and everything. So for instance, you could go with a food truck, or you could go with a coffee shop layout, or a spa, or a branding agency. They've got some decent little layouts here. And if we take a look at some of these, like, let's go into, and I really haven't looked at all of these, so this is once again my first impression with you. Let's go into the creative layout agency. Let's import that. I want to see what this looks like and see what kind of add global styling to import this. Yes. I want to see what this looks like. So one of my biggest problems with Gutenberg that's never been my favorite is I really don't like the way this editor works when you take and you look at like Gutenberg so Gutenberg in essence it works. It does what it needs to do. But then you look at something and you're like, I don't know, it's just not my favorite. The way the way the UI handles, the way everything handles, it just bothers me. There's something about it I just don't like. Oh, and I have a plugin. Let me turn this off so that this doesn't come up and mess us up. I just don't like the way it looks. I don't like the way that there's separations. I think they need more work done on Gutenberg. And so you can kind of see here that there's, it's definitely similar to Elementor or one of the other page builders, but it's definitely not 100%. Gutenberg is not an easy editor to use. So if you're just sitting here thinking that this is going to be easy to use, I've got news for you. It's not. There's some hair-pulling complications with this that you'll run into, and it's a lot harder than what you think. So let's update the home page just for grins, and let's look at it in the preview tab just to see what it looks like. So fairly good home page. Obviously that shouldn't be there, but we can get rid of that. That's a a standard thing. Yeah, that's really weird. I don't know why it's got this and this. Okay, so it's got some changing tabs. That's pretty cool. That's neat. I really don't like this. Let's see. This looks okay. It doesn't look like it's got any kind of like icons or anything. Feedback, very boring. Some logos. Have we gotten your attention? And a subscribe button. So literally there's nothing that this page just does nothing, which is kind of shocking. So it's a couple buttons, some images, and some divisions. I don't exactly understand that. So if we go back into this page, let's go back into this page. See, they're adding margin in here. I don't get this. But you see so this is one of my issues with Gutenberg. So look at this. So they add margin to this, okay? Like you've got some padding. It's either padding or margin, one of those two. But you can see that it's at the bottom here. So on the home page, you can clearly see that it's got I guess it's not supposed to be. I don't know if it's supposed to be white. I don't know why it's separated. But it's because they have this padding that's in here and it's creating these gaps. And that just drives me absolutely nuts. It's like, why does it do that? Why is it doing that? And it's because Gutenberg is ultimately very hard to work with. It's not an easy editor to work with. Everyone thinks that it is, and in all honesty, that's just not true. It's harder to work with than what you would think. You don't find a lot of the same functions that you would find in Elementor. So right here you can see this 50 is in the top padding, so we'll take and throw off this padding. Let's see if that fixes our issue. We'll update it. Let's go to preview. Let's go to preview and preview this and see if that fixes it. And once again, this is one of the reasons why, and it still didn't fix that padding issue. I don't know why it's doing that. And that's kind of, that's my whole thing with Gutenberg blocks. Not all blocks suck. So, this shouldn't convince you not to get it. I've obviously bought this, and I bought it for a reason, but I'm hoping it kind of gets developed better. I'm hoping Gutenberg gets developed better, because you can run into issues like that. Just like this, where you're having these weird just issues that you don't see in the builder itself. Like, why is this happening? Why is it there? You've taken out and you've removed it, but in Gutenberg, because Gutenberg sees things differently, you're seeing things differently. And it's probably something stupid like the document background has some kind of color attached to it, or there's some page attributes attached to it. Like if we go to Canvas, let's update to this. Okay, let's try previewing that. Let's see if that fixes some of the problems. Nope. So Canvas is just a no header, no footer type thing. Surprisingly enough, though, it does actually fix the issue. That's weird. So it does fix the issue in Canvas. So it's a theme problem is what we're seeing. It's an incompatibility. But the problem with this is that more often than not, this incompatibility, you'll find, tends to be fairly, I mean, it's fairly consistent across. I've noticed that there's a lot of issues. So you just got to play with it and see where you can go with it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You have also got some global colors in here, but most of that comes from, but this is Qubely, so it is Qubely. You've got some global colors that you can change. You can go in here and you can basically say, okay, I want to make this the active. And as you can see, it'll change your global colors, which is pretty cool. I like that. I think that that's neat. It's a neat way to have some presets. You know, I wish that there were some more I guess different colors. Like if we change this, let's change this to a pink. Let's change this to a purple. Let's change this to like a yellow. Keep in mind, this is strictly just to basically show you what the differences between these are. And then, you know, if we do that and then we update, it should update the whole entire thing. And then when we preview on the front end, we should see that, yes, that no, it hasn't, it actually hasn't. Oh, there we go. I had to update it. It's basically, you know, updating the page. So let's go back into the page. Let's see if we can figure out this issue with the actual page itself, because I'm sure it's something simple, but because I'm not familiar with running Blocksy, I'm sure there's something that's going on in Blocksy's content. So disable header, yes. Disable featured image, yes. Design, background. Okay, so it's inheriting the background, so we can kind of change the background to white, and that should make everything better. Well, let's change it to white and then drop the opacity of it. Would that make it better? Don't know that to be the case, but let's update it anyway. Let's preview, let's put it in the tab, and let's see if that ends up working. No, still some kind of freaking nightmare right there. And you know, that's one of the ultimate issues is, like I said, trying to diagnose this and just figure out where this section is or why something isn't constructed the way you exactly want it. And so you literally have to go block by block and figure it out. Not that you wouldn't have to do this, to be quite clear, with so here it is. That's weird. So there's just like an empty div that's in here right now, or it's the end of this div. No, it's not the end of this div. So where's this div? Is it Qubely row? No, that's that. Yeah, it's just an empty div. It looks like that's, or it's a piece of this div? What? Wait. So it's the Qubely row overlay. That's what looks like is causing the spacing issue, from what I can tell, is the Qubely row overlay. Something along those lines. Like something that's not even, so if you go in here and you actually click on this, because that's where I'm getting confused. And that's where all of this gets really, really ridiculous, because you start looking at this and you're like, okay, well, where's the row? So this is the row we're on. And you have to start playing with this stuff in order to try to figure out why this is happening the way it's happening. So let's go in there and let's see. So the background, this is not, so let's see. It does, at least it highlights this, which is nice, and then it shows you the different columns, so you can see like this is a column and this is a column. So that's nice. That's one thing I think that they did well. And then you have a row underneath. Now what I'm confused by is, why is there a row underneath this? Because it's a row linked to a paragraph. But there's nothing in this paragraph. So it looks like this paragraph is the issue. So we're gonna, I've never found an easy way to do this. So you do like that, and then you tell it to remove the block. I don't know if that actually, so maybe I screwed up on this. Maybe I'm the one that's an idiot when I was editing it. Like, nope, still showing it. That's really weird. You know, still shows that block and everything, because you have this block here. And so, you know, I can't figure that out. I don't know why. And this is one of those things that, you know, somebody else will probably come along and say, well, you're an idiot. This goes here, and this is why this is like this. But this is the kind of crap that normal people are not going to have the time to deal with. A business isn't going to sit there and try and play with this shit and get it right, because it's just not worth it. And this is one of the reasons why, you know, businesses don't use something like Gutenberg. In essence, it's great to think about, but then there's so many finicky problems with it that it's like, come on, guys. It's just not that good. But let's keep going. I don't want to sit here and do this. Let's import another layout. Let's keep looking at the layouts. Let's see if we can find one that actually works, because that's what I'm really here to do. I'm not here to bitch. I'm actually here to go through it with you and kind of see if I can, you know, take them apart and kind of look at it and see what's going on with it. So far, that's not a good start, just for me. And keep in mind, not that I have anything against Qubely, because I think that they're pretty cool. I bought it with the stuff in mind that, you know, in one day it'll be pretty awesome once Gutenberg has done its thing. So this is a better looking one so far. I like this. It's got a good looking setup. It looks clean, looks nice. But once again, there's like just, I don't know, to me there's things that are just missing. The colors are horrible. That would be my fault, because I picked some horrible ass colors. But the colors are horrible, but at the same time it's a good looking setup. I don't think it's bad. I'm not offended by it. I don't think it's definitely don't think it's great. But you know what? I give this one a solid, oh God, did it import the other one on top of it? Yes, it did. Oh, it's lovely. It's lovely. I love when you run into that and you have that. And then you got this, which is funny because it imported this. And so let's see if we can just remove this whole entire block. So you got to go block by block. So if we click this, remove block, remove block. I know there's a way to clear out the whole entire layout. I'm very aware of that. But I'm just doing it block by block for right now. It just makes it easier. All right, this. Funny enough, that's the one that ended up breaking on us. That makes me laugh. So let's update it. Let's preview it. Let's preview in another tab, see if this shit breaks. Nope, doesn't look like this broke. This looks good. Well, you know, I say that, but then there's a space right here. And once again, I'm 90% sure there's not supposed to be any space right there. And you know what? Now that I see this, there's spaces in between here and here and here. Did they do that on purpose? And this is what I'm talking about. Yeah, they did. There's little spaces in between here, which is kind of just like, why? Why did you put, it's got a gutter in it. I guess they did that on purpose? I don't know. So some of that is actually by design. I don't think I would do that. Not by design. I wouldn't take and do that. I wouldn't go in and set the bottom margin like It's just too, I guess you don't want everything on top of each other, which I get, but you don't want spaces to look like they're not meant to be there. And I think that that's my problem with it. Like, what is this gutter size? Is that the gutter size of that? That's just, I don't know. Some of this stuff is not my favorite. I mean, you know, everybody has their opinions, and you can pick whatever you want to pick for your website. I just think that, yeah, I see why they added a gutter. So they added a gutter because they don't want that to be next to the text. Here, it's not next to the text because the text doesn't right align. It left aligns, so that's why that happens. But there's some weird spacing that's going on in here. It's, like I said, it's just not my favorite. And like I said, that's a choice that you can kind of make with your website. You can decide whether you want that or not. To me, there's times where some of the spacing issues that are in this, it just doesn't, it's weird. I mean, I know they chose this for a reason, but it looks so weird to me. I mean, this top part looks great. I like this top part, but once again, very boring layout in terms of layout. I really expected more. There's no drop shadows in here. There's no animations. There's none of that. And so that's something that really bothers me, and that's something that sets, for me, the difference from Gutenberg and everything apart. Like, sometimes there's just times where, okay, so this is an image, and then you got this. Okay, that's cool, but there's times where you just want more. There's times where you want something to take and look the way it should. And Gutenberg for me has just not been it, not yet. Like, even looking at this, you can clearly see that there's like a gap at the bottom. I don't know if that's just because of this. It's weird. There's like a gap at the bottom of this layout, so there's a paragraph that I just probably added. So if we take this, you got to start typing to remove it. So then that'll remove it. But for some reason, is that just because it's probably a gap on Bloxy's part, if I had to guess. Yeah, this is a Bloxy gap. That's just a gap as part of Bloxy. But I don't know. For me, the Gutenberg thing, it's like, do I care? And part of me just doesn't. I mean, part of me looks at this and goes, you know, this is okay. It's not bad, but man, there's just, Gutenberg needs to come a ways. It's fast. Yeah, I'm sure that if we went and we started playing with it, you could get some fast page speeds. That's great. But when you take and you actually, what you're sacrificing to make those page speeds fast, and it's still not disabling the header. So I guess you got to go in and actually click. You have to go in the customizer to disable it. So anyway, what you're giving up for this, it just seems like it's a little bit ridiculous, and that's my point. You know, this is turned into a bit of a rant, and it was never meant to turn into a bit of a rant. But in essence, that's kind of what's annoying me about Gutenberg, and that's kind of what I don't understand with most people. Most people, they want Gutenberg, but at the same time, when you sit there and you look at what Gutenberg offers compared to, let's say, just, you know, just a regular page builder, you know, it just doesn't offer that much. At least to me, it doesn't. It doesn't have enough. There's not enough functionality built in. Now, some other page builders do have some things that I think look a lot better, and to be quite honest with you, I don't think we gave this a fair enough look. So I'm going to clear this. I'm going to go in and actually wipe this, because I think that there is a way that you can, like I said, that you can go in and you can wipe it all out. I don't remember where you have to go to that, but there's some way that you can clear the, let's see, block manager, no, options. Nope. 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 Okay. Maybe just the okay. Perf. No. That's just the block manager itself. So this is the kind of stuff that you can turn off and on with Gutenberg. But that's not what I wanted. I actually wanted to clear the layout, but it doesn't look like you can. I thought that there was a way you could, but obviously I'm wrong, so wouldn't be the first time I'm wrong. We'll go in and we'll just delete this row by row, which is pretty stupid, but it's all right. So the point being, if you're not noticing yet, and once again, I'm sure somebody who's Gutenberg, who's just like a Gutenberg master, is going to come in and blow me out of the water and say, look, you're an idiot, you were doing this wrong, you were doing this wrong. And probably a good portion of that is true. A lot of the stuff that I've done has probably been wrong in this video, but the point being is that most people are not going to sit there and they're not going to go through. A business is not going to want to go through and fight with, let's say, with Gutenberg to get stuff right. So let's choose this header. Let's import it. Sure, let's import the global styling with it. You know, they're not going to fight with this kind of stuff. Either it works for them or it doesn't. And if it doesn't, then they're probably going to say c'est la vie, and they're going to be done. Like, they're not going to have a reason to go in and do this kind of crap. And this is one of the main problems for me of what Gutenberg does. Gutenberg is really, really cool. Gutenberg has a lot of stuff that it does. There's patterns in here. There's stuff that you can just kind of throw in at a moment's notice. But to me, Gutenberg is still, in essence, what it is. It's a blog. It's a blogging system, and somebody's going to come in and they're going to say, no, that's not true. It's more than a blogging system. It's not to me. It may be to you, but it's definitely not to me. It's just not. It'll never be I don't know. It'll never be what it should be, which is a page builder replacement, because to me it just doesn't give you enough of that page builder snap. It doesn't give you enough of those things that you just need, you know? It doesn't give you enough of that. And that's truly where I get frustrated with it, is that when you're looking at this and you're saying, well, do I want this for my website and is it going to work fine? I don't know. The answer truly is it might and it might not. I mean, so one thing that you're going to notice, here's the thing I want to point out something, and I want to show you. And I'm going to kind of show you in a second, but let me just import a couple more things, and we'll import the styling. So we've got some sections here, right? So I hope that you're noticing something about these sections. Number one, these sections are freaking huge. Unlike a normal page builder, and I get it, you could design a smaller section or whatever the case is, but unlike a normal page builder you can add in, you know, top sections and bottom sections. Every section in Gutenberg is like fucking gigantic. And I have no idea why they do that or what the purpose of that is, but it seems like you just can't get away from it. Obviously, there's margin and padding and all of those things, but in essence, those are the things that are causing issues. You know, this margin and padding is all over. Just looking at these different pieces, which I know that you can go in and you can adjust it. Once again, I get that. I understand that. I'm aware. But when you look at this, it just looks just not right. It just doesn't look organized. It looks off. Because it's importing different fonts and different weights. Yes, you got to go back and yes, you got to fix that. But I wish it worked a lot like Brizy, where if you had Gutenberg and you were working on it, it would import your fonts and import your colors and change all of this to where you need to. That's where Gutenberg needs to be. It needs to have a theme built into it. Like, you know, some people may or may not know, Gutenberg is going for a theme builder similar to kind of what Brizy's doing, where you're literally going to be able to choose Gutenberg and it's going to customize your header, footer, and everything. When that comes along, Gutenberg's going to be strong. But until that comes along for me, it's just not enough. It's not enough reason to sit there and use it. And I know that there's people, like I said, who can take and make these beautiful pages in Gutenberg. And I know that there's other builders that have them. But for me, these blocks are, I don't know, they're just lackluster is the term that I would use. They're just boring. They don't look like anything amazing. This is an image, a button, a header, links. I mean, yeah, you could say, well, yeah, every single page builder has lackluster. No, not true. Some page builders have better designs than this. Some page builders have better call to actions where they're not so freaking huge and they don't look like this. And that's kind of my point. Not my favorite. I mean, just their sections, it's weird. It's just not. It's the way it looks, the way they do it. They use these gigantic images. They use, I mean, this is a decent design. This looks good, but still, it's a huge image, title block, some text, and a button. I mean, if that's all you can do, and that's the ready-made sections, and this is what's so special about this, I mean, I don't get it. Why, so if you go to Go Pro, why am I going to pay $99 for unlimited license to this? It's okay, but I would feel shorted. If I have the choice between a page builder like Brizzy or Oxygen or Elementor or one of those, and I have the choice for this is overpriced to me. It just is. Those things have headers and footers built in. They've got pop-ups. They've got many different things that work with them. I'm not saying that this isn't worth money. I'm saying that these prices are way too much. I think, honestly, the single license should probably be, I don't know, $25. This 5 license pack, which I like the 5. I think that's cool. $50 and unlimited for $75. I mean, it puts it more in line with page builders a little bit more. And if you really want to, I would do 15, 30, 60. If you had 15, 30, 60, I could see you buying this just to have it. But right now, for $100, it's hard. It's hard. I mean, unless you can take and you can truly build something of value. These Gutenberg page builders they're cool, but they're not that cool, We've got to start seeing more with them. And I know that there's more skill. I know you can put animations in there kind of like they did. I know you can do all of that with Gutenberg, but I still feel like if you're telling me that I have to build a Gutenberg site, I know it's going to be more complex than building a Brizzy site or building an Elementor site, even though I know that those builders are going to be slower. So it's a trade-off. You kind of have to decide, what do you want with that trade-off? If you're willing to fight and kind of, you've just seen what I've gone through, and that's very basic. That could be a blogging issue with the theme itself. There could be millions of things. I'm not going to submit a support ticket every single time there's a section of a fraction of something that, for whatever reason, in Gutenberg shows something crazy, because it happens all too often. Gutenberg is not at the place yet, for me, where I feel like it just needs to be. It's not there. It's good, but it's not great. Does that make sense? It's good, but it's not great. It's okay, but it's not, it's not my favorite. It's not like, I want to wake up and use this thing. That's the biggest problem for me. That's truly the biggest problem. And I like it. And like I said, I bought into this because I think that eventually it's going to be something bigger. And they have many, many Gutenberg plugins that are out there. I mean, the Gutenberg plugins that are out there are huge. So it's not just this one. There's many Gutenberg WordPress. You have to put that in. But there's many Gutenberg plugins that you can get started with. I mean, there's tons of them with Gutenberg. So if you go in here, you start looking and searching, there's just tons of them. Tons and tons of Gutenberg plugins, or Gutenberg, let's see if we can find plugins. Or Gutenberg blocks, I guess they call them. I mean, the blocks that are out there are just nuts. You've got so many. You've got this, which is Brain Force, which is Astra. So it's Gutenberg blocks. Let's see how many Gutenberg blocks we have. You have Astras. They've got a decent amount. You've got these guys. They've got 1 million installs, which is interesting. I've never heard of them. I should probably look into them. You've got Page Builder with CoBlocks, which is GoDaddy. I would never use that just because I don't like GoDaddy. You've got GetWid, which is more Gutenberg blocks. Advanced Gutenberg. You've got Cadence, which is growing pretty fast. You've got Gutenator. So everyone's jumping on. You've got Atomic Blocks. Everyone's jumping on the bandwagon, as you can kind of see. They've kind of realized, oh shit, Gutenberg's getting stronger and stronger by the day. We also need to get on this bandwagon and start creating better Gutenberg blocks. And that is ultimately what's happening. That's why you're getting this. That's why you're seeing these blocks. Because they know that users want them. They know they want them. So if you can offer it for a decent price, or you can offer as part of a package, then I think it's fine. I think what Cadence is doing is fine because they offer it as part of a package. Granted, I think you can buy it. I think it's more reasonable than this because their pricing to me just seems outlandish. It's a little bit high. It's really high if we're being honest. You're not going to build an amazing site, using Gutenberg. It's going to look like a Gutenberg site. As a matter of fact, I would be curious whether they built this with Gutenberg, but I doubt it. This is probably built with, guess what? A page builder. So there you go. So, if you're looking for something, to stand out, I don't know. To me, don't use Gutenberg. It's fine if you want to build out a post, like if you're building it for an affiliate site, and maybe for your pages you use like a page builder so that they stand out, and for your posts you use Gutenberg. That's fine. You could use it for that. It's an extra layer of stuff on top of stuff, but at least your pages would look nice and they'd have some kind of differing thing inside of them. So anyway, that's just my take. This is not going to be the correct take, but it's something that you probably didn't want to know, so I'll tell you anyway. Hopefully you subscribe and like, and I will see you guys next time.